Warning. Although I've tried my best to establish my channel as a family-friendly brand, the subject matter at hand contains some dark themes. If you are uncomfortable with the discussion of depression and suicide or mild sexual undertones, I encourage that you do not watch this video. Viewer discretion is advised.
Every day I imagine a future where I can be with you. In my hand is a pen that will write a poem of me and you.
Hello everyone, I Like Trains 2 here, and today I'm going to be talking about Doki Doki Literature Club. Now, I want to start by saying that I think you should play this game if you're in the mental, physical, capacity to play it. Do not take the warning seriously, and do not play this game if you are depressed or suicidal, because this video is about pretty much why you should never do that. I mean, it's also going to double as a review, but anyway. So, I'm going to give you the short version. So, I decided to play this game with my friends because it's kind of been an age-old tradition to read a visual novel with my friends, and we all give the characters funny voices. So anyway, this game, you have 4 girls. That's 5. I put 5 fingers up. I do that all the time. That's not just in the videos. You have 4 girls. You've got Natsuki, Sayori, Yuri, and Monika. Now, each of these girls has a very genuine, realistic personality, and they're not 2D at all. That's something you need to know about this game, is that these characters are really realistic. Almost, disturbingly realistic. They're very human. They have these qualities about them that feel so genuine and three-dimensional. I mean, at times you forget that you're even just reading a literature or a visual novel. It's really something else. I mean, I commend the creators of this game for creating such believable characters, because I have not played a game before. I mean, other than maybe Red Dead Redemption. Yeah, I'm comparing the depth of these characters in a visual novel, a dating simulator, to the incredible, renowned Red Dead Redemption. But yeah, so Yuri is kind of like the yandere character. I hate using the freaking anime trope names, but that's how you describe it. She's kind of clingy, she's kept to herself, she apologizes for everything she does, but overall she's very sophisticated. And I chose Yuri because she's got a very bountiful, luscious, and round personality. Now, another character is Natsuki. Natsuki is, she kind of has this cute overtone. You think, she's probably really innocent and sweet. She's the youngest of the bunch, and she also seems to be kind of mean, though. She's kind of hostile at times, and it's hard for her to get to know people. Sayori is your childhood friend in the game that you've known forever, and she's very sweet and calm and sentimental. And then there's Monika, who is kind of like the club leader. She's probably the most one-dimensional character, or not one-dimensional, two-dimensional character at the beginning of the game. You think that, Monika's just like the tutorial character, and that's kind of a big theme in the game, that Monika's nothing but a tutorial character. Now, like I said, I chose the Yuri run. My friends and I did. We eventually went our separate ways. One of us has totally forgotten about the game, but 2 of us played it, and I'm gonna use that as kind of anecdotal evidence. But yeah, so we did finish the game on our own, and I of course did the Yuri run. So, eventually, if you choose a character other than Sayori, I don't know what happens if you do choose Sayori, because I didn't do it, and I can't bring myself to go back and play it. That is seriously how emotionally impactful this game is. Now, basically, you will get close to one of the characters, Sayori, Yuri, or Natsuki. And I know for sure if it's Yuri or Natsuki. Basically, Sayori's, depression that she's had her whole life gets really bad, and she hangs herself. And up until then, the game, again, it does seem realistic, but it's this facade of being a cute dating simulator. And it gets dark, yeah, you can sense that something's really wrong, But basically, you get this scene where you like either tell Sayori that you love her, or she's the best friend you've ever had. And I don't know. Again, I didn't choose the "I love you" option, but yeah, she hangs herself, and it's gruesome. You just walk into her room and she's hanging, and it hurts. It's so, again, it's so real. You feel it as if it's a real person you knew. And this happened with my friend too. It's very, very genuine to a point where it is just disturbing to see that happen. Now, and then the game just kind of like goes in on itself, and suddenly you reboot the game, and Sayori's just totally gone from it. Then the other two characters, Natsuki and Yuri, their negative personality traits have been overblown to the point where Yuri's like psychotic and obsessive, and Natsuki's just a total jerk. And Monika's still calm and normal. Anyway, so things kind of carry on, and you eventually learn that Yuri like cuts herself, and Natsuki's being abused by her dad. Again, disturbingly realistic, and it's just not something you want to see. It's not something you want to feel, again, because these characters invoke such a genuine sense of realism within you. You like seriously, I've said it a million times, but you feel it. But then one of the hardest parts of the game for me to watch happened. Basically, Yuri forces the other two club members out of the room, and she's all like, "Oh yeah, this is just me and you," like, and then she confesses her love to you, and the game has kind of, or in the second act after Sayori kills herself. By the way, I think I should have. You'll know this if you play the game, but basically the whole story restarts after Sayori hangs herself, and she just happens to not exist, and everyone forgot about her. But basically, Yuri confesses her love to you, and the game has been kind of like imposing that Yuri has some kind of like masochism thing where she like gets pleasure from hurting herself, and you basically have the option to accept her confession or deny it. I accepted it because of that round, bountiful personality I mentioned earlier. I'm kidding. That joke was uncalled for. I'm sorry. But she just pulls out a knife and plunges it into her chest after you either reject her or accept her, and then you're locked in the room, and you have to basically set the game to fast forward mode, and it basically zooms in on Yuri's like corpse after she stabbed herself, and the day-night cycle goes, and you have to sit there and watch her body rot. And that genuinely just filled me with this sense of utter dread and failure and loss that I feel in real life when something bad happens to me. It was genuinely sad and hard to watch, to the point where I don't like when, like, my friend was joking about it because he really hated Yuri, and he said, "Oh yeah, like, I'm glad that I gotta watch her rot." And I'm like, dude, like, come on, that hurts. Like, genuinely, you feel it. Even if you're one of those people who put it up on a pedestal and you're like, I'll never have a waifu, loving a fictional girl is unnatural. And I'm not saying that that's, like, I'm not saying that I did this with the whole waifu thing in mind, but, like, as just a friend, as, like, again, a character you get an intimate attachment to, you really do feel it. Even if you don't, like, genuinely, like, feel a true romantic attachment to them. Seriously, like, again, a lot of people who don't actually, act like that, who aren't actually, like, accustomed to waifus and stuff, me, I'm not, like, a waifu person. I'll usually have a character that I really like, and, but that's usually because they're cute, or it's, like, a design thing, and I just like the character, but this really is just on a different level of you get attached to the character. And seriously, watching Yuri rot just hurt. And that is preceded by Monika. Basically, it's like 2 days later after the weekend, they unlock the club room, and to find out that you and Yuri had been locked in there the whole weekend, Natsuki freaks out and vomits, and then Monika is just like, oh, like, that happened, I'm sorry you had to see that. And then Monika deletes Natsuki, and Yuri from having ever existed, and she deletes the rest of the game. And then she confesses her love to you as a genuine entity, not part of the game. Because Monica did not have a route, because Monica was the tutorial character. She was the bland one who was programmed to help the player through the story, but not actually have any connection to that. But then Monica gained sentience, and she created an alternate ending so that she could have her happy ending with you. And basically, at this point, you have two options. Sit at your computer and talk to Monica forever, or delete her file. Now, of course, being the man of action I am, I deleted her file. And, at that point, I didn't like Monica. I thought, this is justice. But then she has this whole speech about how she realized how terrible everything was, and I'm not doing it justice. Again, if you're watching this, I hope you've played the game, unless you're depressed and you just want to hear it, not see it, which, again, I respect. That's okay. But she has this speech about how, she just loved you, and she thought it was unfair that she didn't get an ending. But she knows what she did was wrong, and that she ruined your experience because all you wanted to do was play a game. And she also confesses that she was the one who drove the characters to kill themselves or become mean by manipulating them. And some people at that point, they hate Monica and think she's beyond redemption. But then some people, like me, unfortunately relate to her. They feel that pain of, being abandoned or rejected by someone they loved, maybe even someone who once loved them, who eventually left them for whatever reason. And then that person may have done everything in their power to get them back, but had to just sit there and accept that it was pointless. And that's what Monica feels. She, no matter what, she can't just get her happy ending and have the character be happy too. She can't be chosen, because she's not really part of the game. And Monica has to accept that reality, and it carries over a really strong message that that's just how it is in the real world sometimes. Sometimes you love someone with all your heart, but you can never be with them. Whether it be someone who's in love with a fictional character, or a celebrity, or someone who's just not as fortunate and hasn't been blessed with social skills or good looks, and loves someone out of their league. It's a genuine thing that we all face. And it's those of us who went through it, or maybe even something like it but worse, that really feel for Monica. And, Monica's final words being along the lines of, I still love you or something. But yeah, basically after you delete her, she says, I'm gonna make things right. Clearly whatever I did made you unhappy, so I'm gonna make this right. So what she does is she deletes herself and permanently and restores the other characters. And the game starts over anew, and everything's happy. Natsuki and Yuri don't fight anymore, Sayori's still alive, and it's just all, gold and happy, yay! But then, Sayori fills the role of Monica. Sayori becomes sentient and decides to keep you, the player, all to herself. And that's when Monica strikes back. She doesn't want Sayori to make the same mistake, so what she does is she erases everything. And this is where it really gets me. The screen is black for a moment before it starts glitching out, and then you hear a voice calling out to you, and then saying, I wrote a song for you, and then she starts singing, and it's Monica. This is the first time you're genuinely hearing a voice. I mean, you hear Yuri breathing sometimes, and stuff like that, small, tiny things, but this is the first time you've heard, a genuine voice in the game. And she sings you this song that's just so pretty and sweet and innocent that honestly, it ends with Monica saying, if I don't know how to love you, then I suppose I'll just have to leave you alone. And it's so sad because, again, this game makes you feel, whether it make you hate a character. I don't hate any of the characters. In fact, I got that attachment to all four of them. I wanted them all to be happy, but instead, they just got erased because another message this game has is sometimes there just is no happiness. Sometimes things just need to not exist. So, as the credits roll, as Monica sings the song, she erases the game behind her. and never to see you again, never to see the player that she fell in love with, genuinely. And it doesn't feel like a game. The game is designed to get you this attachment to these characters so that in this final moment, you may even believe deep in your heart that Monica is genuinely real as she destroys the game behind her. And it is sad. And then once the credits are finished, the game just bricks itself and you have to reinstall it if you want to play it again. And it's just, this game injects you with feelings of futility and decisions that you'd never want to have to make, and loss. Like, if you don't want to play it again, take it from me. Like, this game actually had me awake at 5 a.m. thinking about what I did to Monica, to a fictional 2D character that I didn't even choose in a silly dating simulator. This game is something else. This game makes you feel like no other game before it. You know, the nostalgia I feel for Sonic Adventure, the raw appreciation I feel for Cuphead, the adoration and just obsession I have with Red Dead Redemption stories and characters. All those positive feelings those games make me feel do not compare to the genuine negative feelings of regret and sadness and futility that a game, a dating simulator, a visual novel that is called Doki Doki Literature Club made me feel. And that's just something else. But seriously, I don't regret playing it. I'm glad I did, because it was an experience like no other, meeting these characters and going through these hardships and facing all this. And it all paid off when I heard Monica sing at the end. It's just really something special. And even though I told you everything, if you haven't played it and you think that you can make it through, do. And if you have played it, I'm sorry, because I'm sure you felt a lot of the same things that I did. Anyway, with that said, yes, I'm glad I played this game, and I think I'm glad the developers made it, and the developers are very, very, very talented at story writing. And I heard I guess this is like some sort of tie-in to a game they're making or something. I'm not incredibly interested in that game from what I've heard so far, but, you know, just knowing how incredible the writing in Doki Doki was, it kind of makes me want to try it. And I guess that could be why Doki Doki's free. Or, you know, a little bit of merchandising money, or, you know, advertising for their next game. Because someone like me who would have never played it might actually play it now. So yeah, with that said, to the creators, I commend you. To the players, I also commend you, because, wow, that hurt. And to me, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for making the right choice and choosing Best Girl Yuri. Until next time, I like trains too.
The ink flows down into a dark puddle. Just move your hand right the way into his heart. But in this world of infinite choices, what will it take just to find that special day? What will it take just to find that special day?